Goalie, what would you need to feel safer in this relationship? And again, I know he's not going to attack you. I know that he's a good guy. So when I say safe, Sam, I don't want you to think like, all right, Adam's warning Goalie's going to get her out of here. Witness protection, a helmet. But what would it take to feel safer? Because sometimes people say, I'm afraid they're going to discover I'm not worth it and they're going to leave me. I'm afraid that I'm going to screw up so bad that they can't handle it anymore and they're done. Some people will say, I just feel like they won't take me seriously, even though he does. I just still don't think he will. Anything like that. What would it take? What would have to, or even just what is the thought? What is the thought that makes you feel unsafe like that? Even in the back of your brain, most irrational, it's not true. Sam's going to laugh when he hears it, but what's the most irrational thing?
I think it probably is the fear that Sam will leave me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I often feel so afraid to make mistakes. Shoot.
There's tissues right there.
Yeah, I feel, and I know Sam is like, he's so reasonable and understanding, but I put that pressure on myself and I project it onto Sam that I'm not good enough for this love.
That usually comes from when we're kids. When we're kids, we were given love and that was taken away. Then it was given, then it was taken away. That was given and taken away. Like yank, 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 back and forth.
Yeah.
And we got our oxytocin ripped away from us over and over and over. And we didn't understand why. And our little brain, when you were 1 year old, the 1 year old Goalie, for some reason she blamed herself. Really. And she blamed herself. And she's like, man, it must be me. Like for some reason I'm not good enough. I made a mistake and now they don't love me anymore. Yeah. And then they would come back and you would try to be better the next time. And they would still go away. And you'd like, what did I do? And it was never enough. And you kept making mistakes when you were little. And that's what your brain learned. And that got reinforced as you got older.
Yeah.
Sure.
It fits.
Yeah.
We've done a little bit of like digging into my memories from when I was younger.
Yep.
And this has been as we've been trying to set boundaries with my parents now because there's still a problem. And there are just countless examples of my parents, like, I don't know if berating is the right word, but just kind of name calling and just like real explicit expressions of like contempt and kind of like just disgust, but that's kind of similar.
I think in our first year marriage, I would uncover these little nuggets of, like, I would say something either jokingly or something, or like it's such a delight of mine that she's not working, and I work remote, so we get to be around each other so often, and I delight in the fact that she can like sit on the couch and look at her phone and kind of take it easy sometimes.
Brain rot.
Yeah.
And I'll go, oh, like, what are you looking at? And when I first would ask this, she'd be like, why are you asking? Are you judging me? Am I not? And then she'd go, am I a lazy wife? Am I, I go, where's this coming from? Then that's why I refer to talking to ghosts. Like, and then I would hear stories about that she would recall of growing up. And I go, oh, there's a lot here.
There's the trauma. There's the trauma.
Yeah. And so then, like she said, sometimes she'll feel much more than what I think I'm giving on. And one of the conversations I've been trying to have of like, I'm allowed normal human expressions. I can be frustrated, disappointed, within a normal range. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to leave and be done with you and find out like you are a lazy wife.
Yes.
I found you out,
Yes.
And all these things.
Like if I could poke fun at myself for just a second, in my ideal world, Sam would never have any of those feelings, disappointment, anger, frustration, sadness with me. Like he would just be totally fine no matter what I did. Which is not great, obviously.
No, it is. That's totally normal. None of us wants anything like that directed at us. But some of us feel that they are just warning things that need to improve, and others feel that they are existential level threats. Your brain treats those as existential level threats. Sam is mad at me, therefore he's going to abandon me in a forest. I'm going to starve. I'm going to get eaten by wolves, and I will die. That's what little 1-year-old Goalie's brain is saying. That's what that is. I will starve and die, and no one will ever love me, and I'll be dead, and people will be happy that I'm dead.
So crazy to say out loud.
But true.
It's true.
Right. And the biggest thing is honestly just acknowledging it. Number one, so that Sam can see it, so he can actually see you and be like, shoot, you're sad and traumatized. But Sam, do you still love her anyway?
Yes, I do. I wanted to joke and say,
Right. I hear that. Sometimes we deflect with humor. And that's okay. Okay. So to feel safer in this relationship, you actually need to perceive the relationship differently is really what the thing is. It's the perception itself that's causing the unsafety.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the perception is caused by two things. One is that difference in your brain that is saying like, I will never be loved. And Sam will eventually realize that and leave me for like a blonde bikini bimbo somewhere. That's part of it. Part of it's your brain. And the other part is Sam's reactions, right? And yes, you absolutely have to have human reactions. You cannot get to a place where you have to be like an emotionless robot with a mask and never speak or feel ever again and just walk around the house like breathing barely. And that's it, right? We can't get to, and she doesn't actually want that from you either. So there's a number of things that we can do. Number one, yes, having these conversations like this are exactly helpful because we can call them out and kind of laugh at them. We need to briefly examine those thoughts that are there. We don't have to go all the way back to childhood and sit there and saturate in it. Some people like to. I'm not a big advocate for it. What we need to do is drag those thoughts out and say, holy crap, this is dumb. And then kind of laugh at them a little bit. So your instinct to laugh at them actually is appropriate, you guys. It's actually very appropriate.
Yay.
Love laughing.
Number two, one thing that I have found is quite often the ability to just go and get some quick reassurance when you have that feeling is so crucial. Are you able to go to Sam when you have those feelings, or do you stew in them for a few days or weeks or years?
Yes. I guess it depends on maybe my time of the month.
Sure.
But I would say that I have tried doing that in the last 6 months or so, and it's actually turned out really good.
Yeah.
And we've been able to build back up that trust.
Yeah.
But there are definitely moments when I just want to stew in it, and I know I'm wrong. I know I'm doing the wrong thing, and like abandoning my spouse in that moment, and like violating our agreements. So it's so shameful, but I still choose to participate.
Yes. That's actually okay. It's actually okay because pain is a really good teacher. So we need to build that awareness. So like you're actually in a really good pathway. When you stew in it, it needs to suck and then it needs to hurt. And then you need to say, crap, I should do it less next time. And over time, it's not about doing it perfect once. It's about doing it over time and improving. This is what anxiously attached people don't do. They don't allow themselves time to improve over time. They say every single thing is an existential level threat. So if I do it once, I could die. If I didn't die, I will die next time or I'll die next time. So they don't have a pathway for fixing and healing like that.
If you like this clip, I know you're going to enjoy the full episode. You can watch it right here.